And you're live.
Hello, my friends. We are having ourselves quite a day here. We are making healthier brown Rice Krispie treats. I'm Danny Spies. Welcome to Clean and Delicious. If you were here earlier, you know that this is our second trying to go live here, but if I had to tell you the truth, it's actually our third. The first time we had sound issues. The second time we shot the whole thing and never went live. So this is our third time. So I said, girl, go back upstairs, put your lipstick on, get back in front of that camera and show your Clean and Delicious people how to make these brown Rice Krispie treats. So we're gonna try again because why not? So as you join, please say hello. Let me know who's watching, where you're watching from, and if you were with us on the first broadcast as well. And let me know how the sound is. I'm hoping that this all goes well. Okay, now I have brown Rice Krispie cereal. Now, normally when you buy Rice Krispie cereal, it's like the white, it's like Rice Krispies, right? So it's made with white rice. So if you look at the store, you can often find a brand that does the same type of cereal, but it's made with brown rice. So marshmallow, we're gonna use a combination of nut butter and brown rice syrup. So it's like brown rice squared Rice Krispie treats. So you're gonna need a half a cup of each. You can either do peanut butter, I have almond butter here, and if you didn't do any nuts at all, you could do a sunflower seed butter, which is a little more bitter, but because we're using all the sweetener with the recipe, it honestly would work just fine. Then you're gonna do the half a cup of brown rice syrup. Now, if you've never used brown rice syrup, the reason why it works so well in this recipe is because of its texture. Check this out. It is very, very thick and sticky, so it does the job of the marshmallows. It's even thicker than honey. And the reason why it's a great choice for a lot of people is because it comes from brown rice. So it's 100% vegan, and it gets this job done, right? So if you couldn't do honey, this does the job. If you wanted to try honey in this recipe, you could probably get away with it. Maple syrup is not going to be thick enough to get it done, okay, guys? So try the brown rice syrup or honey. Look at this. This is really what makes the marshmallow texture, though. You can kind of see. You see, watch. Ooh, it's like when you have melted marshmallows. It's the same exact texture, which is really why this recipe works. Come on, go in the pot. Okay, and then I like to just give it a little kiss of vanilla extract. So you need about a teaspoon into your pot. Now I'm gonna get the pot over a medium-low heat, closer to low, and I'm not really looking to get it hot. All I want is for it to warm up a little bit so that it's soft enough that it gets ooey and gooey enough to pour over the Rice Krispies and mix them. So you're gonna need a nice big bowl like I have here. And sometimes what I like to do, and I'm gonna do it right now, is I'll actually put a little bit of cooking spray in the bowl so that when we start mixing, everything doesn't stick to the bowl. And I'm also going to spray down my baking tray. I have an 8 by 8 inch baking tray. Mine is ceramic, but you could use glass or anything you had would work. I like to call the 8 by 8 baking trays, AKA a brownie pan, because that's what else we make in those 8 by 8 pans. All right, so I'm gonna go over to my stove, give this a stir, and really all you want is for it to be mixed together and soft a little bit more. It's mixing together, but really I want it to be drippy. That's really what we're looking for.
Drippy.
Okay. One more minute. Don't fall in, do not fall in. One more minute. Get this into my bowl. The stirring options. I really love adding mini chocolate chips into the mixture. You could do craisins, you could do raisins. The only thing I would urge you to do, especially with all the allergies these days, excuse me, is if you were making this for like a crowd or if you were bringing it somewhere, put a little sign or make a little note, let people know that it has peanuts in it, just in case, because a lot of people might think, oh, it's just a regular Rice Krispie treat, and they would never think. I have a tickle in my throat. Okay. All right, this is looking good. So here's what we're gonna do. We've got the brown Rice Krispies in the bowl, and I'm going to take my mixture and look at the consistency we're going for, guys. Excuse me. You see how it's loose? And honestly, it looks like it would look if it was melted marshmallows. Oh, what's that stuff that used to come in the jar? Fluff. Okay. Awesome. Then, this is where you got to give it a little elbow grease. You're going to take a wooden spoon or some type of spatula, and you want to mix this together. Now, if you are doing a stir-in like chocolate chips like I'm doing today, you want to get this mixed together a little bit first, and you want that mixture to cool down a bit, because if it is too sticky, if it is too hot, your chocolate chips will start to melt, and we don't want that to hold on to. This way, when they're done and we cut them, you can see that this little chocolate chips sprinkled all throughout. Okay, so you can see how it's getting that texture just like Rice Krispie treats. And what we want is a nice light coating. And guys, don't worry if it doesn't look like each and every piece is sticking together, because when we transfer this into our pan, we're gonna pat it down so it all gets really compact and sticks together, just like a traditional Rice Krispie treat. So this is like your healthier Rice Krispie treat, little protein, a little fat, obviously still a dessert, but just a little bit more higher quality. I like to call it up leveling the game, right? We're leveling up, guys. Okay. Once you've got it to about that consistency, you can sprinkle in anywhere between a 1/4 cup and a 1/2 cup of mini to sprinkle over the top. And you just gently work that in. You really don't have to over mix it. They all kind of fall through and find their way.
And you don't need to use the chocolate, right?
And you absolutely could skip the chocolate, or you could do like some kind of dried fruit. You could also take a mixture like this, guys. Instead of making bars, Rice Krispie treats like I'm making, you could roll them into balls and make like little energy balls and mix like nuts and seeds or more dried fruits. You could really get creative with it and do your own thing. Okay, then you're gonna take your pan, and we are going to get the whole mixture into the pan. Again, see how it's not all stuck? Not a big deal.
This is the pan you sprayed down?
Yep, I already sprayed the pan, so nobody's gonna stick. And then you all can use your spoon if you want, but I find the easiest way to get this job done is just to kind of pat it down with your fingers. So I like to pat it into my pan, and you can see as it starts to come together, it looks just like a traditional tray. How good does that look? Of Rice Krispie treats. And you know, you can make, it depends on how much you care about what it looks like, but you could continue to work that until it looked how you wanted it to, like nice and even is what we're going for. Then you sprinkle a few more chocolate chips over the top and gently pat them in, because I want them to stick once it sets, okay? All right, so that's the name of the game. Let me rinse my hands really quick. And from here, what I would do is I would pop this in the fridge. You could put a little cover on it. Pop it in the fridge for at least an hour. It helps it to set up, and you could leave it in there, for a couple of days until you were serving it. But when you serve it, I do recommend doing it at room temperature, so this way it's not super hard from the refrigerator. These I made just about an hour ago when we tried to go live. And what you're gonna do is go in and cut them just like you would Rice Krispie treats or a brownie. And because we sprayed the pan, they pop right out. Oh, I can't wait to show this to you.
We got everybody today. We got Bali, India, Russia, Hong Kong.
Oh my gosh. Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you if this is your hello. Can we please? You see this, guys? I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to get a plate to put them on. Okay. Put them right here, and you can put your Rice Krispie treats, boop, right on the plate. And you're ready to serve. Simple, delicious, healthier brown Rice Krispie treats. I'm going to give this one go, guys, and try to get on YouTube before I disconnect here. But if you just want the recipe, you have it here. In a little while, I will put it down in the comments below so that
wants you to say goodbye ads.
So that you have the recipe. And thank you so much for joining me. Any questions or comments, B? Because I can't pull it up.
Anything you definitely wouldn't recommend putting in it?
Anything I wouldn't recommend? I mean, I would not recommend putting bacon in it, but I'll tell you what I think would be great would be like either like shredded coconut or dried fruits, dried seeds, even a combination of all those things. But then if you started to do like a bunch of them, to me, this would start to turn into more of like a no-bake energy bar, which would also be great. And if you wanted to roll them, you can make them into no-bake energy bites. So you could really take this base recipe and go 101 different ways, and it is super kid-friendly.
Peanut butter chips.
Would be delicious, especially if you love that peanut butter flavor. Use peanut butter instead of almond butter as the base, and then with the chips, even if you like the Reese's Pieces thing, do some chocolate chips as well. Delightful.
Caro syrup? Is there a caro syrup?
Yes, and I'm not sure.
Could you substitute it?
You probably could, yes. From a texture standpoint, you probably could. Yes.
Is this paleo?
No.
It's not paleo.
It's definitely not paleo because the rice, you've got your grains, it does have a good amount of sugar in it because you're using the brown rice sugar syrup, and then we're adding more chocolate chips. So this is definitely a treat recipe. And sometimes to me, healthier simply means that we're leveling up the ingredients, right? So instead of the white rice, we're using the brown rice. Instead of processed sugar like marshmallows, we're using the brown rice syrup, which is a little less processed. But we still have the calories, we still have the sugar. It's just a little bit of a higher quality product.
Could you make it into an energy bar? Is it more like dessert or more like an energy bar? Or how would you make it into an energy bar?
Well, I would make it into an energy bar, just like I was saying before. I would make it into an energy bar by doing more mix-ins. So, and then I would make them flatter, right? So if I was going to do an energy bar, I might put in some sunflower seeds and some hemp seeds or some flax seeds and maybe a little bit of dried cranberry, some type of dried fruit or shredded coconut, whatever you like. And then I would get a longer, flatter tray, like maybe a rimmed baking sheet, and I would pat them down so they were real thin, right? Because this is definitely this type of energy bar, hence the name energy bar, is definitely, what's the word I'm looking for? High in calories, basically is what I'm looking for. It's got a lot of energy in it, hence the word energy bar. But it's great if you're someone who's very active, or if you need something, if you're gonna be out for a while and you want a little something that's gonna hold you for hours, or if you do like to hike, or if you're at the beach, because you can just bring a little bit and it really carries you for a long period of time.
And how long do you put it in the fridge for?
Minimum an hour.
And it's dairy-free, gluten-free?
It is dairy-free, except for the chocolate chips, so it depends what kind of chips you buy. Make sure you're buying dairy-free chocolate chips if you can't have dairy. Other than that, it is dairy-free and gluten-free.
And you could put chia seeds in there and stuff.
Yeah, anything you want, guys, and make it your own. I love that.
All right.
So again, thank you so much for joining me. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had earlier. I appreciate you guys hanging out and hanging in there with me. And I'll see you back here soon with some more clean and deliciousness. Cheers.